Here for the redevelopment commission meeting, Wednesday, May the 13th, 2026.
Supposed to be on that.
We do have a quorum. Tim is not here. He's ill today. So we have four others. Is it not like? Yeah, it's like,
Okay. He can see it here, but not up there.
I'm sorry?
He was asking if it's supposed to be up there on that screen, but as long as we can see.
As long as it's here.
It's on here, yeah. Okay, we'll call the meeting to order. We do have a quorum. We need an approval of the minutes from last meeting, April 8th meeting. If you had a chance to review those. We need a motion. Second.
Make a motion that we approve the meetings as presented.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a second. Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. Financial matters, the fund report. This is for our information only. Currently, we have $1,823,382.01 divided between the southeast and the northwest districts. You can see on the fund report. Any questions for that?
And we will get another draw in June.
Get another draw in June. Okay. Do you know how much it's gonna be yet?
No,
Not yet.
I'm not
Okay.
sure. We anticipate.
Okay, approval of current claims. The claims, if you'll see your claim, redevelopment claims sheet, the Southeast District, $17,365.16. And the Northwest District, $2,017.50. The biggest part is the Coombs excavating sewer project for the new firehouse. Is this the new manhole?
It is.
Talked about.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
And that's,
That
is
was-
that in the street or is that?
Right in the alley.
It's in the alley.
Right in the alley.
Okay,
And that was the reason we did this, is simply because if we had problems in the future, we're gonna have to dig it all up again.
yeah,
And, so, we concreted over all of that, so it's out in that alley. So we did not want to have to do this in the future.
yeah,
So that's why we put the manhole.
okay. So it's like for a storm water.
Yes, well, and not so much for stormwater, but it's the wastewater treatment
Oh, okay,
going to that.
Okay.
So, but the decision was made, and with Zeke, and so I would rather be cautious while we
Sure.
have it right now to get it done than say
Yeah.
in a year, 2 years, 5 years,
Okay.
So that's why we did that.
Any other questions about that?
And it was 12 feet deep. That's the reason that they did it instead of us. We don't have the equipment to go that deep.
So the total claims is $19,382.66 for this month. Do we need a motion to approve the claims?
Yeah, I'll make the motion.
Make a motion. We
I'll
got-
second.
a second. We got a motion and a second. Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Opposition passes.
Would take just a second. I'll get Tom to sign that and we'll pass this around to the board to sign, please. Now that the claims under there.
Any of them?
Yeah, there's not too many. 3 or 4 maybe. Should just sign
That's for you.
But they were green, I was red.
it. Okay, thank you.
Okay, the annual TIF report from Baker and Tilly. Yes, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you.
Updated report.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
And Again, Jason, similar with Baker Tilly, thanks for having me back again this year to kind of present the annual TIP report that's, is required by the Regional Commission each year. I feel like I say this every year, because I do say it every year. But so again, this kind of just meets the statutory requirement of having this meeting, and through this, we kind of take the opportunity to kind of hit some of the highlights, kind of refresh the TIP areas the city does have, kind of go over when the TIP area participates in, go over the revenue that you collected, what we're projecting, any debt that you have outstanding, and then also just any, kind of gives us an opportunity to ask any general questions that you may have on your TIP areas or just TIP in general. The other opportunity this gives us is, as you know, each year the Regional Commission has to decide whether you want to pass through any assessed value to the overlapping tax units or capture it all and collect that TIP to help continue to fund the projects that you have been funding, the future projects that you want to fund, in the areas and throughout the city. So that has to be done by June 15th, that determination, and also notifying the auditor's office. One thing I did want to bring out, Jan does a great job of getting those letters out in time, but one thing that, as you know, legislators always tweaking TIF. And this year, last spring, they tweaked it again that if we don't get those letters out in time and to the auditor's office, the auditor is required to automatically pass through at least 5% of the TIF. So reduce your TIF about 5% if we don't get those letters out by June 15th. So they're kind of putting some teeth in that deadline. And we haven't had any issues in the past, but apparently some have had some issues not meeting that requirement.
June the 15th.
Yeah.
Should those be mailed certified then, probably because of all the mail issues and delays? Pardon?
Our hand delivered.
Yeah, as the auditor is the most important because they're the one that can keep the money away from us. But the other taxing should receive it too. It doesn't have to be
I would
certified.
hand deliver to the auditor, and they can stamp it that they've received it. They've got their receipt stamp at the desk there,
Okay,
and then you'll have that for sure.
okay.
And I think I sent you the letters yesterday.
Yes,
that
we
you
did
can-
get them, and we're gonna get approval to
Okay.
have Tom
So,
sign that.
again, you guys haven't had any problems in the past, but just wanted to make sure you're aware of that kind of new tweak to a rule that's already been in place for years.
Okay,
So with that, I did hand out 2 reports like I've done in the past, kind of a PowerPoint presentation, and then a more detailed report that has some of the more detailed information, goes out a little bit further. I'll kind of go through the PowerPoint because it kind of summarizes the larger report, but I want to give you the larger report so you have that for reference too. And then as you're looking at into the future additional projects, cash flow, I know Jay and I, when we talk sometimes, we pull out this report and kind of look into the future. So it's a good resource. But starting with the PowerPoint presentation, just starting on page 2, the Northwest allocation area. We've listed there when the dates are anticipated to end for each area. As you can see, it was originally created in 1990. The original area is expected to expire in 2040. But since then, you have made a couple expansions, and you can see those expansions are anticipated to end in 2033 and 38.
So each of these is a specific area?
Well, it's the same allocation area. You just over time have made amendments and added parcels to the original area. And every time you add parcels, they have a separate base date and also a separate ending date.
What I'm getting at is this is the expiration date
Yes.
now, right?
Yes. Well, each one, like
Each
this
one has its own.
Yes. Yes.
So
Which is
Each
important.
parcel has its own.
Correct.
Okay.
Which is correct because it's important because that the parcels that are in this third expansion area, that TIF's going to drop off in 2038, where your original area with the majority of the TIF is coming from doesn't expire until 2040.
Okay.
So we keep track of all that for you. So
So
we
what
don't-
sets these date? Why is the middle one sooner than the latter one?
Because they're always tweaking with TIF, and some in 2003 when you created the area, TIF areas had a 30-year life.
Okay.
Now they have a 25-year life. But see, I guess in 2008 also has a 30-year life, so it's
Yeah,
30
yeah,
years
it's
from when it was created. So
Okay.
2003, the
It's
tip
30.
period ends in 2033. 2008 it ends 30 years later, which is 2038.
And these are all 30 years. So since they changed to 25 years, we haven't
Correct.
added, okay.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yep. No, those are a good question.
So we started this one in 90 and it doesn't expire till 40. That's what's,
It's 50
If you
years.
remember, tip areas created before 1995 originally didn't have a sunset date.
Oh.
They could go on forever. But then if you remember in 2015, they changed the law that says that it's either 2025 or the last date you have bonds in it. So that's why in 2015, we did those bonds
so this
and
was the
they
one.
ended in 2040, which was the last maturity that we could have. So that's why that one is unique.
Explains that. I was like,
All good questions, and just it reemphasizes they're always changing the laws into making it more complicated.
So was there a differential between the estimated and the actual?
So you can see down there below in 2025, we estimated that you'd collect 1,154,000. For 2025, we did only collect 1,022,000, and we looked into that. And Jay and I, we noticed that when we got the spring and fall settlement last year, there were a number of companies that had delinquencies that didn't pay their taxes on time. So I'm going to be looking at your June settlement, and hopefully your June settlement is going to be a little bit higher than normal because of people
Paying like-
paying last year's taxes on time. That's something we're going to look into.
Okay.
So you can see in 2026, we're anticipating that you collect about $1,100,000 for the year. So a little over, 550,000 is what we would expect in June settlement. But again, I'm hoping that will be higher because of last year's delinquencies.
Okay,
We'll see.
gotcha.
And then in 2027, we're expecting, we haven't gotten paid 27 values yet, or, of course, 2027 tax rates. Based on what we know now, and with the abatements coming off, we're expecting that assessment to increase to 1,160,000 this time. The southeast area, page 3. You can see it was originally created in 1989, and you can see we've had a number of expansions in this area over the years. And you can see the expiration dates as well there. And then at the bottom, you can also see that 2025 estimated 432,000, collected 413,000. So again, a little bit less than anticipated. I think some of those had to do with delinquencies and also maybe some appeals getting settled. We are expecting about $520,000 this year and $527,000 in 2027, based on current information. Page 4, talking about the bonds. Again, we did issue bonds in 2015 and refinance those in 2022. They're $7.5 million were originally issued. There's $6,035,000 outstanding. They end in 2037. And then you can see the debt service is about $640,000 a year. The next areas, these are the
Your debt service,
I'm sorry.
so basically, are we not being able to have enough income to pay the debt service?
No, if you look at the north, we combine the northwest area and the southeast area, because both of those are pledged for those bonds. So you're generating, $1.5 million in revenue, those two areas combined,
Okay.
compared to the 600,000.
Right.
I believe it's a little less than $1 million,
Right.
little less than $1 million after we pay our debt service, according to these numbers.
Page 5. These are the 3 residential tip areas that you created in 2021. You can see what we're anticipating to collect in 2026 for each of the respective areas. And then the last area, the Maple Run residential allocation area, the one that was most recently created in 2025. Again, no TIF being collected in that area now because we just created and the development hasn't occurred yet, but that's one that will be, following closely, especially if you turn the page. As you know, we do have those outstanding bonds that were also issued through the IFA program, where the TIF from Maple Run is pledged for these bonds. So we'll be following that as the development occurs and you start paying back the principal on those bonds.
Jason, could I ask you to just give a kind of a clarification, because that specifically has a taxpayer agreement on it that you were a part of observing and seeing, just to get rid of any confusion on that, but to clarify that after the debt service reserve is covered, if the TIF does not generate, then I as the developer am responsible for paying to the city to pay that debt service. That seemed to have been some confusion over the last few weeks. And I'm just looking for you if you could clarify that for others.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. Back on page 7, if you look at the $1,440,000 principal outstanding on those bonds, the only thing pledged towards those bonds is the tax increment from Maple Run. If for whatever reason the TIF is short and not able to make the bond payment, whether it's because the development doesn't occur as anticipated, because the laws changed and it changes the assessment, changes tax rates, and we just don't generate the amount of TIF that we anticipate, even if the development occurs as anticipated, that people don't pay their property taxes on time. For whatever reason, if there's a shortfall, you're only responsible to transfer the amount of TIF that you collect from this area. And if there is any shortfall, as was mentioned, the developer is required to cover that shortfall. You're not responsible for any other TIF from any other areas or any other funds from the city, just this TIF area.
And that's very standard with all of the IFA RIF loans that are going out right now.
Yes. Yeah. And we did that, to protect you and the city. So yes, that's very common.
Thank you.
Jason, could we also note here while we're talking about when you had this Beechwood and the residential in that area and what we're expected to be collecting in 2026, that to this board, that is what will be used to fund the renovation at this fire station here on Lake Road. Existing funds that we have in that TIF area, plus what we're expected to get, because that project will be done. They'll be working on it in 26. So these numbers are very encouraging for that. Sorry to interrupt, but while we were on it.
The last, I'll kind of skip to the last page. I think this is always important, especially when you're talking about, the benefits of passing through assessed value to the overlapping taxing units, because I mentioned this before, because there's a misconception. If you look at page 9, if you look at that box there in the middle of the page, if you add up, the TIF from all 4 TIF areas, you can see it's, $1.7 million that you're should be collecting this year. The misconception is if you were to, in these areas, or pass through all the assessed value, that $1.7 million would get distributed to the city, to the school, to the county. And that's just not how property taxes work. Because those familiar with the council, we're all limited in how much property taxes we can collect. State dictates us how much we can collect. We can't collect a penny more. And we're all at that maximum amount. So we in the TIF areas, we can't really capture any more except for a few funds, which we'll talk about. But what it does do is that AV that you don't capture, that $65 million that gets added to the tax base of the city, of the school, of the county, the townships, elaborate, and helps reduce tax rates. So if you look at the top of the page, this is the actual tax rate for this year, 2026, for the city of Scottsburg. Once you look at the county, the school, library, the solid waste management, You can see all our tax rates added up together, add up to that $2.91. If you look above that, you see Scottsburg, it's $1.07 for most of its funds, and then 3 cents for the Cume Cap Development Fund. If you look to the right of that, you can see the tax base of the city. So this is all the assessed value of the city that's not in the TIF area, is $271 million. So you take that tax rate times the tax base, and that generates that $2,918,000 that the city needs to basically fund its budget from property taxes. It can't raise any more money than that. The state tells them that's the max they can raise. So if you go down to the bottom of the page, still looking at the city, again, we can't raise a penny more, so it's still $2,918,000. But if we, in the TIF area, you can see the tax base increases from 271 million to 336 million. Because we're going to be passing through all that AV. So it just decreases the tax rate of the city from $1.07 to 86 cents. Again, doesn't give us any money, just reduces the tax rate. The only funds that we would see some additional revenue fund, if you look at the far right, would be the county's Cume Cap Development Fund and the city's Cume Cap Development Fund. Combined about $34,000, $22,000 for the city. But if you look at all the other funds, you can see it would reduce the tax rate by about 33 cents. So the city of Scottsburg's tax rates would decrease from $2.91 to $2.57, which is a positive thing, a great thing, but you'd be foregoing $1.7 million of TIF, or revenue that you're currently receiving. So that's kind of the what you're giving up for going to reduce the tax rate that 1.7 million you're currently collecting that you're using to pay for various projects throughout the city. But as those TIF areas end, as we talked about those maturity dates, as those TIF areas end, this assessed value will eventually be added to the tax base and will eventually reduce tax rates, but not until those certain times are met.
It'll reduce the tax rate, we're still gonna get the same amount of
Yes,
taxes.
yeah, it's going to reduce tax rate, but you're not really going to get any more taxes.
Right.
So from the city standpoint, as long as you have projects that you need to fund, public projects or incentives that you need to fund, it's best for you to capture as much TIF as you can, collect that $1.7 million and fund those projects. So that's the determination you need to make by June 15th, is if you want to keep the whole 1.7 million or let some of it pass through and reduce tax rates. So I'll be happy to answer any other questions that you might have. Well, thank you.
Any questions? No questions?
Jason, that one that's not here.
Clear as mud.
So there's no formal action to take on the report, but as far as what Jason mentioned on the determination of assess the value, I would ask for a motion concerning that we've determined that there is no assessed value to be allocated to the overlapping taxing units, and to authorize Tom to sign the notice and it be delivered as required by statute.
Yeah, I'll make that motion.
You
What's
got to
the
repeat it exactly.
Okay.
All right, got a motion.
Need a second to that motion?
I'll second.
Got a second. So before we vote on this, explain it to us again. What are we signing?
So that is the notice that has to be delivered as far as any excess that we would have that we would not want to retain here to pay our bills and to do our projects. That would then sprinkle down bit by bit to the other taxing entities.
Okay, so this is saying we want to keep.
We're keeping our tax allocation.
You understand it now, right?
I knew that we were
Did we get a
wanting to
second?
keep our tax.
Oh, we didn't get a second.
We got a second.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
opposed? I'm gonna sign it. And want our money. You want it?
It's a, well, get a copy to Josh and on it.
Thank you for that.
Get this to the entities and we'll hand deliver to the auditor and
Okay, old business, Josh Showman.
Sure. Just to give kind of an update, I know some of you are aware of the EDC forgivable loan process going through other entities for State Road 56. It did receive 1.2 million in ready, and that was before the council on Monday night. So just update, that's moving forward. Maple Run, we're expecting to see curb installation and paving happen in the next few weeks. So you'll see that start to come vertical, even though 6 inches isn't much vertical, you'll see that happening. And then within a few months, we expect to see homes begin. We have 2 builders that are planning to acquire lots and go vertical as soon as the lots are available. So for Jason, we'll see next year assessed value that hits this year from there to start accumulating for TIF coverage. Before I came in today, this morning, I had served for you all as a city engineer role. The bushes were waiting outside of my truck for me to address drainage with them. So I told them that this meeting is not a meeting to address drainage, that is the Board of Public Works and Safety. So I just wanted to put that out on the record so I'm not giving them false information. So just for confirmation, Josh or someone on this here to give confirmation, so I'm not telling something incorrectly, but I have been talking with the Bushes now for the better part of a year. We met with them on site. I think they had the date, but somewhere around last July. July 9th, yeah, they shared that date with me standing outside. So we addressed drainage with them. They cleaned the ditch in front of their property, but didn't do all the way down the ditch into other parts. So I've recommended they come to Board of Works and make that request specifically at the Board of Works. But I do know that internally we've talked about maintenance and drainage impacts and other things along that. Specifically, I've asked Heritage Engineering for us to confirm the rainfall intensity durations that have happened over the last couple of rain events, just so we can understand the magnitude of those rain events. And for those of you in the room, just for a little bit of knowledge on that, across most cities, states, standards will evaluate things on a 1% annual chance of flooding, which could be the same considered as a 100-year storm event. And so we discussed that just to share that, intensities are becoming more, that frequency is becoming more, and that those durations of events seem to be longer, more than anything ever really planned for in the 60s, 70s, 80s, as I won't say climate change, but as things adjust and rain seems to be happening more frequent. So as we evaluate flooding and things of that nature across the city, those items have to be considered. Something that would be considered a 500-year storm event or a 1,000-year storm event. I'm yet to find municipalities that have ever designed anything to those standards. So I just share with you all, just putting on public record at their request, that we are working, and they are frustrated that they didn't know which board, and every board seems to turn them to a different board. But the redevelopment commission is not the board for drainage. So 1:30 today, Board of Works and Meredith is now handling stormwater items and creating the list, keeping that list, and providing updates to the Board of Works. Mr. Bush, all that consistent with what I shared with you out in the hallway?
Yes, sir.
Perfect. Just want to make sure we're all clear and nobody feels like I'm giving a story or running them down a path. On your all's agenda today, so just before those items, just to give an update, you have 2 development agreement modifications. One is for Water Tower and one is for Maple Run. Last year, when we entered into the taxpayer agreement that Jason Simler made reference to, working with Clerk Treasurer, we removed in nature, we removed funding from each of those documents to allow for other things to happen. So you'll see on the water tower one, there's a removal of $375,000 of committed funds. On Maple Run, there's a removal of committed funds from the city. And the schedule in Maple Run is adjusted to satisfy the taxpayer agreement that was signed with IFA. So the adjustments in there are giving money back and making schedule adjustment to satisfy and match the taxpayer agreement with IFA, or to be over and above stronger than the taxpayer agreement. So there's no additional funds coming our way. Everything is giving money commitment back, a reduction of those things. So Josh has those to share, but I just, as a part of my update, make sure I took that opportunity to share, following with Jason's comment on taxpayer agreement that was there to match those funds. Questions for me?
Any questions?
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, we have a continuing disclosure services agreement with Baker Tilly for 2026.
Okay, Josh, I don't think we ever received that, did we? That lady was on vacation.
No, I don't think we have.
So why, can that wait? We were gonna sign that to renew it again with,
Okay.
and that, I'm sorry, I didn't.
No, you're fine.
Was it for continuous disclosure or? just
Yeah,
annual typical?
the
Okay.
disclosure. And somebody was on vacation, and I reached out, and that, we put it on there for last meeting.
Okay, I can follow up on that.
Okay. It's just, yeah,
Yep, that's fine.
I didn't check
So
this.
is gonna go to the next meeting.
Let's just,
Yep,
yeah,
we'll stay.
table that.
Table that to the next meeting. Okay.
And the reason why we were gonna do that, I think Perry had signed as president, and since you were president, we have an agreement with them now, but just to update it, it's mainly for the signature, so that was to explain that to you.
Barry was present.
You were probably, yeah, you were absent or something that day, I can't remember what happened.
Okay. New business amended and restated industrial site development agreement for the water tower.
Can I have one for Tim Hall also, please?
So is Josh's description adequate, or do you need to go into it more? detail?
No, completely adequate. I can give if there's any additional questions or anything. We've updated language to reflect where we're at. So when we first executed the original development agreement, I believe it was 2023, things have, progressed. Some of the steps in the development agreement have been done. So it's updated to reflect what has been done and what needs to still be done. And then as far as the discussion on the amount, that is reflected in here. The commission assistance is on page 4, the bottom of page 4. So that's where that's updated, that 3.3.1. So that amount has been reduced down.
Any questions about that for Josh? If there's no questions, I need a motion to amend the agreement as stated here.
I'll make the motion.
Got a motion? Need a second?
I'll second it.
Got a motion and a second. Any other questions, comments? All in favor, say aye. All opposed?
You got one for signature.
I'm getting, yeah, and then we
There's a
can,
copy.
we will send the signed copies to you and to Josh.
And then
Is that, get Marcia to sign?
next,
Want a green pen?
We'll get Josh, we have to get Josh's signature too, yeah, send them.
next item on the agenda is the amendment for the restated residential subdivision development, Maple Run.
Took that.
Again, Josh mentioned that briefly, but.
Yeah, so there was a commitment in here that was for the city involving funds towards the development of some green space towards the end of the project. So that language was removed at this point in time. The expectation is that there will be, there are some areas that are in the floodplain, so there will be green space within the project. So going ahead and committing any funding on the front end for a future park, we remove that to give the commission flexibility as we go over the next few years if those funds are needed elsewhere.
Okay. Any questions?
Some of the schedule originally was dependent on Ready, and so the schedule in Maple Run was adjusted per receipt of Ready, which is really where the push in that schedule came. And then the other items were done to adjust to make sure it satisfies the taxpayer agreement commitment.
The schedule is moved forward.
It was, Ready took about 2 years longer than everyone said, so it just pushed it to adjust for that.
Okay. Any other questions for either Josh or Josh? If not, I need a motion.
Yeah, I'll make that motion also.
Got a motion? Got a second?
I'll second it.
Got a second? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Passes.
Pass it around.
All right.
You just suck.
Now we have resolution number 2026-R-1, resolution of the City of Scottsburg Redevelopment Commission approving and authorizing participation in a forgivable loan agreement between the City of Scottsburg, Indiana, and the Scottsburg SR 56 Partners, LLC.
So this was touched on as well. Part of the reduction in funds that this board previously approved in probably 2024, 2025, somewhere around in there, was funding for street or highway improvements, turn lanes, et cetera, at the State Road 56 project in the amount of $300,000. The action this board took was to reduce our funding commitment to the water tower project and to provide basically moving that money from moving it to the State Road 56 project. This resolution is kind of the final piece of that pie. We obviously just amended the industrial to provide, make that money available. And this resolution is authorizing you to make that contribution. The council on Monday night approved the forgivable loan process, and essentially what that's doing is through the IFA, there has to be whoever the construction is done by, ideally is the one that's doing responsible for any of the bidding, et cetera. If a city, obviously, if we go and do a project, we have to bid it, publicly bid it, et cetera. Well, that's not the goal on the State Road 56 project. It's done by a developer. But to get the IFA money, we have to somehow then get it to the developer in a means that meets statute. IFA has blessed the forgivable loan process as the way to do that. So we're not giving them any money that's not already been allocated to them by other means. And it's only forgivable in the sense that they complete what they're supposed to complete, then their obligation is resolved. But again, this isn't new money or any money that hasn't previously been pledged, money that's not coming from other sources, Ready, IFA, et cetera.
That's correct. And the only thing I would add, just so there's no confusion, I have zero ownership in this project, zero interest in this project as an owner or operator. DC Develop is supporting management of engineering and construction plans and permits, but this is owned by a conglomerate of Hauser, Temple, Mike Jackson, and Dan Christie, and he owns a piece of it as well.
Is that clear to everybody? Clear as mud.
That's who State Road 56 Partners is. I just didn't want you all to feel like somebody was hiding behind an LLC entity name. They are the owners of the collective roughly 148 acres and then 125 acres adjacent to it.
Okay. All right, we need a motion to approve this resolution of the forgivable loan as eloquently described by the
I'll
two
make the
Joshes.
I'll make the motion.
Motion. Need a second.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. Any other questions? All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed. Motion passes.
Quick question, you said Hauser, Dan Christiana, and who else was in there?
Ken Temple and Mike Jackson. And it's the Hauser family. There's 3 or 4 of them that are involved.
Scott was with John Monday night, so I assume he's one of them.
That's right. I think it's Scott, John, Patrick, and I believe the mom and dad own a part or piece of it as well.
I think when John, was my understanding in speaking to John, he did contact all the council members and made them aware of who the partnership was.
That one is done.
Just send all this to you.
Yeah.
That's why I
Oh,
asked
that's
all
my
that.
fun day.
Yeah, I had her come today, so she didn't miss anything that she needed to do.
Was there something else, Josh?
Yeah, and the next regular meeting, June 10th, there are several conflicts for city officials. We're going to ask that meeting date be changed to June 17th at 8:30. If that would work for everyone, or the majority.
Next meeting will be June 17th at 8:30 a.m. right here. Any other issues, concerns, questions, comments? If not, need a motion to adjourn?
I'll make it.
I'll second it.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Do you
you.
have any copies of that? We gotta get one more for Tim for that resolution. I'll have her make a copy on it.
There's,
Is there a copy
yeah,
of the
there's a
resolution here?
Oh, I heard it, did you, that was last year?
Here's the
Is
agenda.
this-
We just need a copy of that resolution. I've got everything else for Tim. Thank you, Josh. Put that in the packet for him.
Okay, so you're gonna.
I've got his, I got his. Was that what he called you for? Well, yeah, he called me, so
He tried to call me, but when I got my hearing aid in, I gotta do something to my phone, and I couldn't remember what I pushed.
Okay. Then Josh, I'm gonna be in your meeting at 10, right? Because I'm gonna meet with Jason Simler. And hopefully he's got good news on the city budget.
Yeah.
I know that's not really all under your, that's usually paid, isn't it? Let's go back to my office, if you don't care, because I want to put Trish on the phone. Everybody have a good day.
You're on,
See ya.
Cheryl.
Thanks,
Bye,
guys.
guys.
See you.
Let's pray for no rain, okay?
Oh,
you're gonna get me up, face.
Mayor, we'll see you in a few minutes.
Doing all right? You're,
Oh, I don't want to
Yeah.
see him, I live it.
My air account letter, they,
I'll just call me and says, hey, ask for a better.
You okay?
Well, thank you.
because he was, whenever your cardiologist says that he has a
Not since
responsibility.
it's been City Hall, I've been here multiple times.
He,
I think there's like several different groups here.
prone to have a heart.
I think they're all mixed together.
Another stroke.
Let's see.
Where
he
are
has
those
to
bushes?
farm.
Where do they live?
I didn't
On
know
Berry
that. He
Lane
has to
or
go.
Main
The
Street?
bushes,
South Main.
South Main?
Yeah.
That
They're
you
along that
would-
big ditch here.
Said
We're,
I have a responsibility if I think that you're gonna have.
it starts here, you can see it better from the school.
I have a
Where the school buses now parked, that big ditch goes through there, by the Cody property. Where the It goes east.
Then you have to get a chauffeur.
Yeah, I've got 3 or 4
Go
of
out and sit
them. I
down.
got a bunch of them that says that there ought to be with me on whatever I go.
That it floods bad. Real bad.
Okay.
It
It was still
goes
going
all the
there,
way
and
to
everybody was
31.
talking, I was like.
Hey, thank you. Sorry to do that to you.
You know me, put,
Yeah,
I'll
it's,
put Josh
I'm
Owens.
hoping, yeah, it needs to,
Yeah.
do it up at city council.
The,